Physically, he's a very talented guy that he's always been that way. However, in the last 6 months, and he's really grown up as a person that can use his skill. You know, a guy that's very talented but just is immature and doesn't use it. It's kind of a waste of time. But he's really grown up there, and especially the last couple weeks, his practice routine and his attention to detail is off the charts right now.
When you called the run at the end of the Alabama game and Spencer was that a sign to your team that you're still swinging hard? Was there an upside to that? Would you comment on that whole thing?
Yeah, the questions about the play call, and it was mine. You know, I could blame someone else. It was mine. I thought we could get a PI against Alabama. It was bare. No deep, you're not going to gain a yard against it. So you can say, why didn't you hand off the ball to Ezekiel? And it'd be 2nd and 12. And we did that afterwards, and we ran the quarterback a little bit. You're not going to gain, there's no chance. Yeah, I think they'd expect that. There is no shock. I mean, we've done things before in the past where we take, we're a very aggressive approach to the game, where there's going after block punts, taking shots down the field, a reverse pass right before the end of the half. So I think there might be more shock on the outside, but we'll do it again. I mean, if someone says, why did you do that? We're probably going to do that again. I hope we're in that situation.
Urban, do you like the look that you see from your guys? I think when it's like Thursday for you guys, practice week-wise, do you like the look?
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, it's been great. It's very uncharted waters now. We just went into, these are 3 basically championship fights, one after the other. You know, you went from Wisconsin to, in particular, the last one against Alabama, extremely physical team. Our linemen shared with me that was the most physical game they played all year. You know, Michigan State was similar, just the pounding that the offensive and defensive lines take. So we were very smart how we went about our business, but I like where we're at. We're ready to go.
Does this have to be a shootout scenario?
Well, I think Oregon's defense is much, especially the last few weeks, they're playing very well. And the Ohio State defense has been playing very well, you know, to do what they've done against Alabama. And because you take Alabama, our game, the offense put our defense in horrible field position several times. And then they played the best defense that we played, the best defensive football we played in the last 3 years, or maybe the last forever, not forever, but certainly since we've been there against Wisconsin. So I think the defense is for me to predict a score, I don't know that, but I think both defenses are much better than they're getting for credit for right now.
Urban, last week in the Sugar Bowl, your team seemed loose. They seemed not stiff. Can you gauge how they're reacting this week to the national championship game? Has their attitude changed? Are they loose or are they?
No, they're pretty good. I think they, you know, like we kind of shelter them, and the good thing is we weren't in classes. You know, that was a good thing for us that we were kind of locked down and spent a lot of time with them, and loose, I'm not sure that's an appropriate word, but just very workmanlike. You know, loose, as I hear loose, and what does that mean, loose? I think they have a routine they're used to, and they are approaching their business like a bunch of pros right now, which if you're at and hoping to see a bunch of players walk around nervous and tight, I don't think you'll see that right now.
Urban, you said you've learned more from this team than any other team you've had. What sorts of things have they taught you?
Oh, it's coach speak or cliche or whatever you want to call it about caring for one another. I've done this 30 years. How many teams actually do that? Because it's the dynamics of college football, the different cultures that you just put in a meeting room together, the age group of nonsense from 18 to 22-year-olds, and we all want that team. And you can say, well, the coach put it together. The coaches don't put that together. You can mold it and work on it, but at the end of the day, these guys, the circumstances that they've been put in are probably never happened before. You know, where you lose your starting quarterback 10 days before, you lose a player like Noah Spence, you have Jeff Harmon. We went our first 4 games without an offensive captain. Both of them weren't playing, and Jeff finally got back, but you can't lead when you're not playing. And then obviously near the end of the season with the things we dealt with, and that's when I learned how they responded to those. It was genuine, because if it wasn't genuine, it would have surfaced.
I know you don't like words like surprise, but all that and the more you're at.
Yeah, I don't like surprised either, but it's a, you have to give credit and testimony or what did that. And the thing I will say this, we've spent an inordinate amount of time on leadership training. In corporate America, you do your homework, which we did. Corporations are spending millions of dollars on corporate leadership. College football is nothing more than a corporate America. Interesting dynamics. And I don't know if anyone's ever spent a dime on leadership training, and we have. We put our coaches through a 5-week program in the spring on Brotherhood of Trust. We put our players through 2 years in a row now, E plus R equals O, how to respond to events. And, I'd like to think as educators, that's one of the reasons why they responded the way they did.
Where does Evan Spencer fit into all that? You said the other day he was MVP. Can you give me with the adversity that the team had and all of that?
Yeah, the question's about Evan Spencer, and I made a comment the other day that if we finish this right, he'll be a write-in captain at the end of the season. And that's not charity, it's not a gift, it's something earned, and there won't be anyone in the Woody Hayes that would question it. He recovered the onside kick, he threw the touchdown pass, and he knocked 2 guys down on the block. So on the field, it's obvious, and then off the field, what most people don't know is he's kind of the glue. He's such a great leader by example. Everyone respects him, and he's the MVP of our team.
Tressel called that catch of the game, one-hand catch on the onside kick.
I'm sorry?
I talked to Tressel. He said that was the catch of the game, one-hand catch on the onside kick.
Oh, it's unbelievable. If you slow it down, it's. I'm glad we have those sticky gloves because it looked like it stuck to his hand.
Coach, you talked a lot about the time you spent with Greg. I think mostly when Chip was there.
All when Chip was there.
College coaches are very free with other coaches. Did you learn anything in your time there that might help you?
I think that's changed. There was a day where even we would open the doors. We don't allow people come in. We very selective because you work really hard at your trade. And I know Mark, but I don't know him like Chip. A lot of respect for Coach Helfrich and Coach Frost and just the offense. But more than offense, I went out there just because of the culture that Chip was. It was unique. I kept hearing about it, and I talked to Chip all the time. He used to go on the Nike trip with me, and we'd always go separate ourselves for a couple days, and I'm, always trying to learn. And then the year off, I went out there and spent a lot of time, and then I went out to the bowl game. So I know Coach Kelly actually asked me to speak to his team one time. So we've shared a lot of ideas. I want to say Chip came to visit us at Utah and Florida. So that's been going on for a long time. Oh, I think not so much Monday night, but I think just there's certainly things in our program that we've used from what we learned from Oregon.
You said the further you get along in the week, you get a theme. You talk about workmanlike. What's going around in your head in terms of mentally what's the motivation?
Well, it's currently, this morning when Mick and I went and sat like we do on the Bob Newhart couch, I call it, and we went and sat off in the corner and talked, and there's no better person for me to have conversation with than Coach Mick. He knows our program, he knows our team. He spends more time with our players than certainly I do and our coaches do. And he has a unique way about his business. So we're not where we need to be exactly knowing what we're going to do, but those conversations will continue today.
Who says you're okay? The team's coming over.
Oh, you think we're in really good shape. I'm sorry? I don't think the question's about how much different. I think during the season it's very similar. I've tried to make sure, and it's not just me, I want to make sure our players enjoy the journey. These kids have been on a heck of a run for the last 3 years. And I just, I'm more cautious about making sure it's not just an absolute grind. And someone asked a question one time, when does the joy of winning disappear and the fear of losing or the agony of losing overtake that? And when that does, that's not good. That's not good for anyone. So I make sure that we enjoy the wins the best I can and our coaching staff can. JT Barrett, obviously a Texas boy and a guy that comes from about 3 hours from here. Tremendous leader, came out of his shell this year, incredible amount of respect. He's still very valuable to us right now in helping Cardell, as is Braxton. Braxton's been great. So there's a unique camaraderie on this team that, like I mentioned before, is unlike any other.